We're moving up in social class for a couple days. Hanging out at the Gaylord. We're here, Kim.
So you see the tail ladder, you see the time is off. We're gonna walk up here.
Yeah, he's playing tug of war like chocolate.
On this next one, we'll walk up here. So a lot of times tactically, we don't want to approach this as something they're behind a building or in a room or in a bush where it's not safe for us to just go walk up on them. We can have firearms. We want to keep our distance right now behind this triangle wall, but not stay behind this triangle wall. That's where hours of training, we call verbal recall. You come back to us, you can stay at a safe distance. Here. It's very exciting. Who wants to see that, like, I don't know, at least one more time?
Yeah!
So we're simply here to suggest what we call hands-on. So we're going to team up when the dog's on a bite like this. We gain control of the arms or anything we need to prior to the handler taking the dog off to make it safe for everybody. As you can see, it's almost not anything. So this is the time is like nothing can allow us to access. No, Dad, please.
No. Can I pet that dog? No. Can I pet that dog?
Well, we didn't get to pet those dogs, unfortunately, but they did have a little puppy palate cleanser at the CrimeCon, and it was through Max Fund. Shout out to Max Fund. Super cool idea. They brought a bunch of dogs out and puppies out and just animals they have up for adoption. And they had this little area you could just sit down, of course, sign a waiver, and then you could get into this little gated area and have like 6 puppies run around and like lick all over your face. Literally just like Kelso from that 70s show.
Oh, no, not another box of dogs.
It's another box of dogs!
Oh, no,
But it was amazing, and Kim and I actually really bonded and connected with the same puppy. Her name's Delulu, and we felt like we might be a little Delulu, aka a little delusional, for even thinking about it. But Kim felt such a strong connection that we ended up going in to look at her and got to pet her and love on her again. And so we're contemplating adopting her. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, that was an extremely unexpected part of CrimeCon that was not crime related at all. Angenette, Levy.
But she dressed up.
That's a good marketing tool.
Yeah.
Maybe, look, you gotta take some L's before the W's come. It's okay.
Exactly.
You start lawyering up, you start running your mouth, you start to scare everybody off, then there's no opportunity. So
Exactly. And they do give me credit, and I go on shows because I'm, subject.
but at some point you draw a boundary. Okay, enough's enough.
Right.
Okay? Enough said. Now you're taking advantage.
Right.
You know, don't be afraid to draw your boundary. Don't be afraid to stand your ground. Just don't be making people angry. Make people like you and want to work with you. That's the key.
Do you feel in your gut that he's in this community?
You know, I probably lose more sleep over that. One of the biggest questions is, was it random? Was it targeted? Have you interviewed him yet?
If you see something, say something. Nothing is going to be considered a dumb tip or a tip that we don't want. Information is our main weapon here.
It's what gives me goosebumps every morning, and it does right now every time I think about that. But that's what drives me is those girls shouldn't have had to go through that. I'm going to do whatever I can, however I can. I mean, that's, you know, we come to CrimeCon to help. I need you guys' help. We need the public's help.
And then as we continue to go through the phone, we were able to get GPS information, see additional pictures, see additional activity that she had on various applications. And it just really assisted us in putting together a timeline of what happened that day.
And I remember law enforcement doing what they can, talking about the tip line to call in. And Jerry, this is not your first time at CrimeCon. You were there on stage in Nashville with the families 2018. And I remember you saying at that time there was 35,000 tips. And Delphi wasn't used to this. Nick, you're third generation Delphi.
Correct.
Small town, they weren't used to kind of knowing what to do in a situation like that.
Right, we had, I think, over 70,000 tips, so we had to go through all of them. And it took a lot of time and effort, but 69,999 of them weren't the one we were looking for. So once we got the one we were looking for, the team did a great job of collecting the facts and evidence and presenting it to Nick and his team, and the rest is history.
Amy and Brad both returned to their rooms according to card swipe data. Now at that point, Brad says that he and Amy sat out on the balcony of the cabin while their parents slept inside. They talked a little bit. Amy told him that one of the band members, Yellow, had been flirting with her, and she's like, ha, it's fine, no big deal. And Brad said, I'm going in to go to bed because they were landing in.
How about you, Mike? Based on the way she's going out, when she got arrested, I don't know if you guys remember, she got arrested. She had her cell phone with her. The officer takes it away. She said, no, that's my cell phone. Who does that? Who does that? My lawyer. I was absolutely surprised. I would have bet money that she would do that. She would roll a sword.
So what I'm going to do this morning, and I think you guys are going to like this, I'm going to get into some of the behind the scenes on what happens in a case. This is a serial killer I prosecuted that almost nobody's ever heard of before. For whatever reason, it garnered almost no media. And I want to walk you through some of the decisions and some of the things that happened in the trial, in the trenches, in the nitty-gritty. And I think this will be interesting. I hope it is. So let me start, jump right into it, because it's quite a story. So Robin Brandley was a beautiful young woman, had a family who loved her, and she lived in Orange County, South Orange County. She was going to a place called Saddleback Community College, where she was an aspiring DJ in 1986. She's still living at home. Here she is doing her DJ gig at the school radio station. And this was one of those young women that we hear about, and one of these young women that we all know in our personal lives that everybody adored. Some cases are so brutal and they are so bad that you seek the death penalty. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But when you do that, you get into the penalty phase. You learn things about your victims that might not otherwise be relevant in a regular murder case. And you get into, you meet their parents, and you meet the parents in every murder, at least I always would. But you learn about them growing up. And there was something that struck me in a story that her dad told us. Her first day at school, as she's talking about her first day, and she talked about the word love, and she said, love is quit, K-W-I-T. And he said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, you know, when you're on the swings, you're swinging, you're having fun. And there's a little girl standing there, and she wants to swing too. well, you quit. Here she is as a little girl. Same expression on her face. So this is a young woman who's going through her life, and she's doing everything right. It's Orange County Sheriff's Department, and that's a good agency, and they get absolutely nowhere. They look at ex-boyfriends, they look at weird guys at the school, everywhere. You can't find any indication of who might have done it. She was found in an industrial area of San Diego. She was 31 years old, shot one time behind her right ear, exiting the left. Suspended .45 caliber shell casing found next to her, along with a condom, with all the DNA that a prosecutor could ever want. But at the time, there's no CODIS match. So CODIS is the combined system where all the states come in. You've got to be in the system in order for there to be a hit. My private practice, I defend police officers. So I just want to share this story with you. That man, cop as cop could be cop, right? And Chicago is a storied history with law enforcement, and they've been accused of corruption and many times throughout the history of Chicago, and on and on and on. And we all, I can't do Chicago accent, but this guy was Chicago cop to the last cell of his body. And they take Andrew Urdiales in, and they interview him, and bring him into the interview room. The first thing he does is he takes his shoelaces off and his belt, and he puts them on the table. And he proceeds to confess to all of the Chicago murders. And as the detective is walking out, he goes, "Are you guys gonna ask me about California?" So, yeah, we do. We want to ask you about California. And so they fly out a woman named Helen Moreno. She was a woman I know very well. She worked for the DA's office. I got to work with her. She's the supervising investigator of my unit in homicide. She was the lead detective for the Orange County Sheriff's Department all the way back then. She flies out to Chicago immediately, and he proceeds to confess to our murders. Okay?
It was a matter of ego. Everybody wanted to be the knight in shining armor, and of course, as you know, everybody has all been promoted off of the case and that. But getting back to the victims, we have done extensive research on each one of the victims and their family background. I've even had contact with some of the victims' family. And you see, they're the real victims along with myself. Because if I didn't commit the murders, then somebody else did.
CrimeCon has been a lot of fun, some crazy stories, met a lot of cool people. 10 out of 10, definitely would recommend.
So much blood you can show. You can't show any sex. Watch what you say. I got dinged for using the word chop suey because it sounded like it was some kind of a slur. I mean, it got really strict, and I don't need to have those kind of restrictions in my creativity, so I really embrace screaming.
Okay. Let's go.